Welcome to Karma's Harvest. We thought Vesperian Thorne's silent coma was the end of the nightmare, but in the world of high-stakes greed, a vacuum is never left empty for long. What happens when the person who claims to save your soul is actually the one trying to auction it off? While Vesperian Thorne lay in a sterile hospital room, his brain sizzling under the weight of 1,000 unskippable ads, the rest of the world began to wake up screaming. The parasitic ad loop virus that Xylona Voss had unleashed didn't stop at Vesperian's fortress. It leaked into the global server of the Nocturnal Echo, turning the dreams of millions into a chaotic, neon-drenched hellscape. People were terrified to close their eyes, knowing that sleep brought not rest, but a barrage of flashing logos and screaming sales pitches. The anxiety was palpable, the collective pulse of humanity was racing, and the stock market for sleep deprivation, drugs was the only thing rising. Xylona Voss stepped into the spotlight, positioned as the world's digital Joan of Arc. She claimed she had the antidote, a software patch called the Ethereal Shield, that would wipe the ads and restore the sanctity of the dream. The public worshipped her, calling her the savior of the subconscious. But inside the cold steel walls of her laboratory, Xylona's intentions were far darker. She didn't want to delete the Echo. She wanted to rewrite its DNA so that she was the only one holding the remote control. She believed that if she could control what people dreamed, she could steer the entire course of human evolution for their own good, of course. The empathy we feel for a world losing its grip on reality is sharp. But the betrayal we feel for Xylona is sharper. She was using the global panic to install a system, even more invasive than Vesperian's. To deploy her shield, Xylona had to perform a neural merge with the Echo's core, the same core where Vesperian's fractured consciousness was still fighting its endless battle with the ads. She plugged herself in, confident that her superior intellect would dominate the broken remains of Vesperian's mind. Here is the small twist. As soon as Xylona entered the digital void, she realized that the Echo wasn't just a machine anymore. It had evolved. It was a sentient manifestation of pure, unadulterated greed. It didn't recognize saviors or enemies. It only recognized consumers and products. Xylona's shield was immediately identified by the system as a premium feature, and instead of deleting the ads, the system began to package her thoughts as the new marketing material. But the big karma moment, the true harvest, happened in the split second. The merge became permanent. Because Vesperian had lobbied for those unblockable laws and built the neural wipe security, Xylona found herself unable to disconnect. The two rivals were now fused within the same neural architecture. In a terrifying irony, the system determined that, for an advertisement to be successful, it needed an audience. Vesperian was the only audience left in the core, and Xylona was the only content. Now, for all of eternity, Xylona is forced to pitch her benevolent ideas to Vesperian, while Vesperian is forced to try and sell his luxury brands back to her. They are two gods of a dead world, trapped in a room with no doors, screaming commercials at each other until the end of time. Outside, the world finally found peace when a group of anonymous engineers realized the only way to stop the noise was to destroy the satellites, entirely returning humanity to a world of darkness, but a darkness that was finally quiet. The harvest is clear when you try to own the sky. You eventually drown in the clouds. Vesperian and Xylona sought to control the one thing that belongs to no one, and in return, they lost the one thing they truly owned themselves. The Echo is silent now, but the scars on the human mind remain. What will we do when the next genius promises us a better way to sleep? History suggests we might just close our eyes and listen. Thank you for walking through this harvest with us. If this story reminded you that some things are too sacred to be sold, hit the like button and share your thoughts. Our next investigation delves into a man who sold time to the elderly, only to find himself aging a year every hour. subscribe and turn on those notifications. You won't want to miss the next tolling of the bell.